Marvel Rivals, released back in December of 2024, and it was the talk of the town. The hype was there, and it really just blew up in January of 2025. Everybody was enjoying this game and enjoying the fact that they were able to use their favorite Marvel superhero from the comics or the MCU and go head to head against others online. And everybody was really enjoying the fact that they could play as Spider Man and fight an Iron Man, or be a Captain America and fight a Thor. The whole concept in of itself really is just genius, if I'm being completely honest. And what we've noticed is that this game also has a lot of the characters from the MCU for the past 20 years, right? You have your Iron Man, you have your Captain America, you got your Hulk, you got a bunch of heroes in this game and more that are being added. In the past couple of months, we've had Fantastic Four and Ultron, right? It really is a great business model for NetEase, the developer of this game. But what we've noticed in the past 6 months is that this game has seen a very substantial decline. And the question remains, is Marvel Rivals in fact dying? And what can be done to save this game? What's going on, everybody? Just Bill. I basically upload Star Wars, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Marvel content mixed in with a little bit of FPS shooters here and there. So if you do enjoy these types of videos, don't forget to drop a like. And also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. 98.5% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, and I would really appreciate it. We just got monetized, couldn't have done it without any of you. Thank you so much. Let's get into the video. So first things first, Marvel Rivals. Let's look at some of the Steam chart numbers here. I know everybody looks at Steam charts and thinks it's, the end all be all of a game either climbing in popularity or dying, because it only factors in the Steam players. It doesn't factor in other launchers or other consoles like PlayStation or Xbox. But at the end of the day, it's the best thing we got to actually look at a trend here. So if we take a look at the numbers, I'm going to show a little screenshot on the screen for you. Basically, in December of 2024, this game released. And what we noticed is that the average amount of players was at 279K at the time that I'm uploading this video. And what you're noticing is that it even climbed higher in January of 2025, which typically doesn't happen. So this game was climbing in popularity. And I even made a video about, this game in January. And I said, this game has the potential to surpass Fortnite. I was really digging the hype, and I was, drinking that Marvel Rivals Kool-Aid. I thought the game was going to get better with more updates, more heroes, and maybe a better system in the ranked mode in particular, which we're going to talk about. But then in February, in March, in April, you're seeing those numbers. We're seeing about a 70 to 80,000 player decline, which could be, just because the hype kind of died down and dwindled down. But then you look at further months, even despite new heroes being added to the game, like all of the Fantastic Four. I'm talking Human Torch, The Thing, Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, and they even added Ultron in the past 30 days. And what are you noticing? Another 30,000 player drop in May, another 5,700 player drop in the last 30 days. So what's going on here? Why is there even an issue with this decline in the game to begin with? Can it be pinpointed on a particular reason? I don't think so, but we're going to talk about a few of them. The first reason that we're going to be talking about is skill-based matchmaking, or as some people like to call it nowadays, engagement optimized matchmaking, EOMM for short. And essentially, if you're playing this game even for a month, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even for like 2 weeks, you know what I'm going to be talking about here. It's the fact that you can play, quick play or ranked. I've noticed it in both modes. Those are the most popular modes in this game. You can be on a little bit of a winning streak. You can win 5, 6 games, and then guess what? The engagement optimized matchmaking kicks in and forces you basically to lose your next 3, 4, maybe even your next 5 to 6 games. They're really trying to keep you around that 55 to 60% win rate most of the time, because they realize that's what keeps people playing the game for longer. Every video game basically has this these days, whether it's Call of Duty, Marvel Rivals, Fortnite. You're gonna have, your team will be either not so great and the other team will just be, godlike, right? And they will just completely stomp you once get 4 to 5 wins. Those next 6 losses are basically going to be that. What I've also noticed in particular, and this isn't really tinfoil hat theory here, but what I've noticed specifically is that in those, 5 or 6 losses that you take, you're basically dealing with 1 to 2 teammates that really don't know what they're doing. And this might be tinfoil hat, but I would not be surprised, especially in those lower ranks where you have, more than, 1,000 people or 5,000 people in a particular rank like gold or even plat or even diamond. I wouldn't be surprised if NetEase, with the dwindling player count, has actually incorporated bots into competitive play. That's just speculation, but I've noticed some players are literally walking into walls. And I don't know if, I'm not trying to dog on people that are just playing this game for fun and they're in bronze or silver or gold, but I am trying to climb with my buddy. He just got a new gaming PC and he's climbing in silver to gold right now. And I'm decent. Like, I've made it to diamond a few times already. I have not hit, celestial yet, but I'm getting there. Okay. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Right. But I've noticed in those 6 losses, like 2 to 3 players on my team in particular are not throwing necessarily, but don't know what they're doing. They either don't know the controls, and I play on PC, like it's mouse and keyboard, but you should still know the controls if you've made it to that rank. I just find it really bizarre that certain characters or certain players on my team, my teammates, are just not playing or not playing the game to actually win, right? It's very, very bizarre. And again, because we have this dwindling player count, there's going to be smaller amount of player pools in each rank in the game. What is NetEase going to do when, maybe someone's playing at 3 a.m. and they're in silver 3? I wouldn't be surprised if there was a bot or two incorporated into the skill-based matchmaking or engagement optimized matchmaking to continue to keep players around that 50 to 60% win rate. I also will leave a video in the description that actually breaks down the engagement optimized matchmaking, because NetEase, the developers, aren't really hiding it. And that's a good thing at the end of the day. Like, they're actually being transparent with it. But at the same time, the system needs to be reworked so people can actually get to the 60 to 70% win rate range. Another thing I wanted to address real quick with the engagement optimized matchmaking is that there's currently a bug in season 2.5. In previous seasons, if your teammate left, you would just get disconnected. You wouldn't lose elo, you wouldn't lose the match, it would just not count, and the teammate that left will be penalized and won't be able to play competitive. Well, in season 2.5, I was climbing with my buddy from bronze to silver, then silver to gold, right? Played about 15 matches, and in 2 out of those 15 matches, we had 1 or even 2 teammates leave in the first minute of the match. Keyword, first minute. It's the beginning of the match, you should be disconnected. Well, we had to play the match all the way through with a 6v5 losing battle. You're not going to win, right? No matter how good you are, you're not going to win a 6v5 or even 6v4 for that matter. So we played all the way through, and then in both of those matches, we got handed a loss, and we lost elo. Very frustrating, especially for new players. Imagine you're a bronze guy, you're just starting to load the game up, you reach level 15 to play competitive, and your teammate leaves, and you have to play a losing match, you're just getting completely stomped on, and then you get a loss and you lose elo. Like, I would uninstall the game right there. So this bug is not introducing, new players. If anything, it's going to turn off new players from the game. So NetEase, you need to fix this issue. Let me know down in the comments if you've actually experienced this as well recently. Next thing I want to talk about is just the community. I pointed the finger in the beginning at the developers, but also the community. Now, I'm not particularly talking to you. You may be watching this video and be a really good player, a skilled player, and you might mold with your team and figure out who needs help where or who, fits in a better slot. But there are people, and I may be talking to you here, where you're just stubborn and won't switch your role because someone else is not playing the healer right. And for a fact you're a better healer, but you refuse to switch off of your DPS or tank. And that's what you are basically a reason why some new players aren't being, incorporated into the game and enjoying it, because maybe some of you guys are just stubborn people that won't switch off your role and actually try to win a game, especially in competitive, right? If you are a really good healer, like you're a Lord Cloak and Dagger, or you're a Lord Loki, I actually really love Lord Loki players. I think you're some of the best in the community. But, if you are one of those Lord healers, or you're a really solid healer or a really solid tank, switch off your current role in the game. And I see a lot of people that are we'll chat. I'll be like, hey, like, for whatever reason, Squirrel Girl, can you switch? And they just talk smack. They said, no, I'm not switching. You suck. We're gonna lose this game anyway. And that's just a negative mentality to have when you're in quick play. You should want to work with your teammates and actually try to win. And if you can't switch off or pay attention to another enemy player that's completely stomping on you guys and communicate better, like, yeah, the game's going to inevitably die because of that too, because you end up having a toxic community, especially when you see a dwindling player count like this. The only players that will remain in a game like this are the people that are competitive and want to win. But some of you, because of engagement optimized matchmaking, see how I connected the dots there, are going to be handed 3 to 4 to 5 losses, and then you get tilted and you end up not switching off your role and you lose the match, right? That's what is really an issue too, because you see the amount of dwindling players and the decreased player count. You're not going to win a match, and because of that, you're not going to have new players actually enjoying and coming to the game. Even if NetEase does drop new content and some people come back, if they play a competitive match and they are dealing with some toxic players as teammates, they're probably just going to turn off the game and walk away from it, right? That's where I think we also need to do better as a community here, and just enjoy the game, play your roles, and communicate better. That's just simply put. The last thing we need to talk about is the amount of content coming to the game, and also the overall system of where NetEase wants to head in terms of like just overall video game identity, right? And what I mean by that is, you see a game like Fortnite that's been out for like over 8 years, maybe 9 years at this point, right? And what they've been able to do is incorporate a bunch of different things. They're partnered with Marvel and Disney, and they had a Star Wars season and yada, 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 right? I know Marvel Rivals will never like partner with Star Wars, right? Because it's a Marvel video game, right? But Fortnite has been able to stand the test of time in the video game industry because they've added new content. They've been transparent, which I think both of those things NetEase has been doing so far. But Fortnite itself has an identity of being this like sandbox builder or no build video game that's a third person shooter, right? Marvel Rivals has identified itself as a very highly skilled, highly competitive hero shooter, which again is fine, right? But what they need to do is address the thing that is holding them back, which is the competitive play, and actually address some of the issues with the engagement optimized matchmaking system. Fortnite has tournaments, right? Fortnite has, also a bunch of other modes and even creator modes. People in the community in Fortnite have creators that have created modes in the game that you can try out and play with the existing assets. NetEase doesn't have any of that. The only thing they have as like a community have incorporated into their game is tournaments. Meaning, I don't know if you've seen it, but Necros and all these other big YouTubers, they played in Ignite, which is the kind of like the Golden Goose tournament in Marvel Rivals. And it's, got some of the highly competitive players in that setting, in that sphere, in that, ecosystem, right? And they were playing for $3 million. Some of the YouTubers uploaded that content and yada, yada, yada. But what I've noticed is that NetEase really hasn't like done anything for these YouTubers or for promoting the tournament. The YouTuber or streamer will just, play a match and upload it as a VOD on the YouTube channel. And that's kind of it. Like, there wasn't a lot of hype or marketing or branding just outside of the game to really push this big tournament. Like, imagine like all of the NBA Hall of Famers in their prime just playing in like an NBA tournament. That's essentially what Ignite was for the Marvel Rivals community. So it just didn't make sense to me that they didn't do enough to actually promote how all of these great players and the supporters of Marvel Rivals were in this tournament. Like, I just didn't see it enough. I only came across, 2 videos of the Ignite tournament. There just wasn't enough actual advertisement to be had there. Maybe, have a spectating mode within the Marvel Rivals game to actually watch like Necros or like Flats in the Ignite tournament. There just wasn't enough there from like a creator standpoint. And then also going back to the video game identity, Marvel Rivals' identity right now is competitive play, and they didn't host or show or really like advertise the biggest tournament that they've had in the game life cycle so far, and we're 6 months into that, right? Meanwhile, you have like Fortnite, who, they post on Twitter all of their events, the concerts that they have within the video game. They have, creator codes where you can buy a cosmetic item and give back to the creators. NetEase hasn't done any of that yet, and it's really concerning because, again, Rivals is this tournament heavy based competitive play. You go to the main menu, it'll say like, tournament as a tab, and you'll have to literally watch the animation of the tournament play out in the main menu before you can go to the next tab over in the game to actually play your match in Rivals. So Rivals tries to push the tournament stuff, but they just aren't doing enough to push it more because, again, I did not see this Ignite tournament in anywhere else other than a couple of YouTube videos, right? And then also, they didn't like do any creator codes, nothing like for free cosmetic items there. They just did not do enough for what their identity is supposed to stand for. NetEase isn't lazy, right? They've already added like what, 5, 6, 7 heroes if you're accounting for some of the heroes that they launched with that weren't in the beta in the game. Like, they definitely have added a lot of great characters and good characters that have actually provided a new dynamic level of play. But then they're just, disregarding the current system that they have in place with matchmaking. The community at the same time is kind of at fault because they shouldn't be as toxic as they are, if I'm being honest. And then lastly, NetEase needs to do something about the fact that their video game is dying, and what they're known for in competitive play is really just holding them back because they're just simply put not addressing the issues that I've talked about in this video, and they're not promoting what they are known for in a positive manner enough. So I hope you all did enjoy this video. I'm hoping that you kind of, comment and let me know what you think about the current state of this game. Do you think I'm exaggerating some of the things? Have you come across some of the issues like a teammate leaving in a match and then having to play the whole competitive game throughout and then get handed losses? I would love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And like always, guys, appreciate it. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. I'm your boy Just Bill, and signing off.